WBS Afternoon Edition. France is concerned that the development activities and plans in Uganda are often short-term and not sustainable enough for the future. France's Special Envoy to Uganda, Sophie Makame, says the culture of saving for future generations will break the cycle of poverty, destroying families in Uganda. Makame made the remark as the French government reveals plans to increase financial support to Uganda through the French Development Agency as part of her efforts to support the Sustainable Development Goals, which are to replace the Millennium Development Goals that will expire at the end of 2015.
Focus is put on improving water supply and sanitation systems in urban areas, supporting the energy sector through financing the running of Bujagali and its 250-megawatt power plant, with a total cost of $906 million, and promoting the private sector by allocating €77 million to Housing Finance Bank for the long-term refinancing of the bank's housing finance activity. Her Excellency Sophie Makame is the ambassador of France to Uganda.
Agriculture, tourism, and energy, oil and gas, concentrated in oil and gas. These three growth potentials need to be developed, to be supported by strong infrastructures, and this is certainly the sector which many declination in which AFD is already involved and wish to continue to grow in Uganda.
Virginie Leroy is the local representative for the French Development Agency in Uganda, who says that the energy sector is at the heart of the development of Uganda's rural community.
Big transmission line you can see when you move to Mbale, when you move to the Rwanda border as well, or the Congolese border. And these interconnections are really key issues, key infrastructures, just to regulate the quantity of electricity that will be available in each country within the region, but perhaps also to enable Uganda as a producer, as a country that can produce good electricity and climate compliant electricity.
This is part of efforts to support the Sustainable Development Goals, a proposed set of targets relating to future international development. They are to replace the Millennium Development Goals once they expire at the end of 2015.
The value of funding can be measured against what has been effectively disbursed.
Help the country to reach the MDGs. Now we are not talking anymore about the Millennium Development Goals, but we are talking about Sustainable Development Goals, the SDG, for example. In the energy sector in 2014, all the fundings in the energy sector managed to connect more than 150,000 people in the project we funded. So this is the kind of objective we look for in our project.
ADF has got 2 million children into primary and secondary school, improved housing for 2.3 million people, provided 2.7 million people with access to a sustainable source of drinking water, assisted the development of 246,000 small businesses, supported 777,000 family farms, and preserved and sustainably managed 32 million hectares of natural spaces, allowing biodiversity conservation.
The body of the late Supreme Mufti Sheikh Zubairi Kayongo has arrived in the country. From Entebbe International Airport, the body was first taken to his home in Chitezi along Gayaza Road. Apparently, the body has arrived at Chuburi Mosque for prayers. Let's have the highlights of this story.
rezenia zamwe kutereza nyiriri tumsalire mzee bil ma'i wa thalj wa naqhi min khata Allah كما ينقى الثوب الابيض من الدنس اللهم رياض الجنه اللهم قنا فتنه القبر وعذابه اللهم ارزقنا رزقا كريما اللهم اجعل القران انس له في قبره اللهم اجعل القران انس له في
My condolences to the Muslim community, and may his soul rest in peace. The Ministry of Lands, Planning and Urban Development has started experiencing problems accounting for the $150 million loan for a period of 5 years from the World Bank. The funds are meant to enhance institutional performance of 14 municipal councils to improve urban service delivery in Arua, Guru, Lira, Soroti, Moroto, Mbale, Tororo, Jinja, Entebbe, Masaka, Mbarara, Kabale, Fort Portal and Hoima. The State Minister for Urban Planning, Rosemary Najemba, has portioned the blame of accountability and delays in procurement processes to town clerks at municipality levels.
There were some technicalities, but I'm sure we are now moving. Yes. And it was not about World Bank not releasing the money, but it was about a contractor that maybe was not really ready to move, that stalled the activities. But the money is there and we are moving.
So the project basically has three main components. One is building the infrastructure in these municipal councils I've highlighted. Two is building the institutional capacity of the 14 municipal councils. And then three, building the capacity of the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development.
Masaka Town New Tax Park has one public water toilet serving 52 families living around the park and hundreds of passengers flocking the tax park. The public toilet has only 4 stanzas to serve at least 52 families and passengers using this park.
Residents of Masaka Town living around the Masaka New Tax Park and the passengers are in arms with Masaka Town Council for failing to renovate the only public toilet water serving hundreds of people working and living around the new tax park. The only public water toilet has 4 stanzas serving male and female living and working around the park, including passengers. The chairman of Masaka New Tax Park, Robert Katerega, says 2 of the 4 stanzas are in the busy working place, but in unhygienic condition.
Toilet nchafu olw'ensonga nti abatendala be bagiwa tebagiyonja. Ngezaako okukola kyonna ekisoboka. Toilet tuyineemu zandibaddemu 2. Twagezaako ne batulaga ekifo ne batugamba council teyina ssente zimba ki toilet ndala. N'abasaabaze bakozesa toilet ki emu ate ng'agikolako ali muntu omu ate alina obugayaavu.
According to Katerega, the new tax park also faces many challenges, including insecurity. The park has a police post with 1 policeman without a gun to protect the passengers and their properties.
Tuyina police post, tuyina omusirikale omu. Omusirikale omu alimu tayina mundu. Tusuza emmotoka njinyiko nga kositera bwe muziraba n'entono. Omusirikale tayina mundu. Si gama tayina nnyama nnene weebuuza singa omubbi ajja azze kubba mafuta oba azze kutwala mmotoka omusirikale amukube luyi amukube mbooko agenda mukolera ki.
Efforts to talk to Masaka Town Council officials were futile as the town clerk and other officials could not be reached on their cellular phones. Harris Tembo, WBS, Masaka town.
A traditional witch doctor, Achileo Nyombi in Mubende, has survived death by a whisker after residents set his shrine on fire and destroying his accessories like calabashes, smoking pipes, animal skins, and many other funny, intimidating things like skeletons of human beings and skulls. Nyombi, who lives at Kalengura village, was accused of bewitching people and planting demons in people's homes. Details in this report.
This situation arises from allegations that Akirewo Nyombi, a witchcraft living on this village of Kalegulira, sought for demons and planted them in this village. The purported demons are reported to have terrorized the entire village, and many who live in this village claim to have sustained wounds and women raped by demons they can't see.
Musabolio nga tewalina kwegatta bya muntu noyita obulwadde ne bujja ne bugana ate mu ddoboozi eryoli ne bwoba obyekwesaawo fera tuba tukulaba.
Deputy Nyombi, Farida Nabale, Francis Mukwano and Joseph Mukisa are some of the victims of the purported demons. They tell us the story that it's 2 weeks now ever since the alleged demons brought by Akirewo started beating them and forcing them to go for treatment in Akirewo's shrine. The LC1 chairman of the village, Fred Namutale, confirms complaints of the residents about the famous witchcraft of Akirewo Nyombi. However, as a matter of procedure, the LC1 chairman registered the complaint at Mubende police station, and the CID investigators were sent to the village to ascertain the truth of these allegations of witchcraft leveled against Akirewo Nyombi. But the findings established that Akirewo had no case to answer. In spite of this predicament, Nyombi now stayed at the police station for fear of his life. But residents still claim that this will not save him.
Kati okumala wempaka twagenze ku polisi ne tuweereza abasawo bonanze benda babo bonamba manyi kumubenda abo babbi.
In spite of all this confusion, like the saying goes, an idle mind is a devil's workshop.
The afternoon edition takes a short break and we return with our international story update.
There are spotless stories and stories born in the mud. There is going home every day or finding home everywhere. There's the easy way and there's the desire to master the hard way. There's holding back our wild side or setting it free.
The UN Security Council has had first-hand accounts from Syrian doctors of alleged chemical weapons attacks in their country. Following the closed-door meeting at the UN headquarters in New York City on Thursday, Samantha Power, U.S. ambassador to the UN, said that Security Council will now seek to identify those behind the attacks and ensure that they face justice. She said council members became very, very emotional while watching a video of the doctors struggling to save children who were vomiting and choking.
This shocking video was filmed in the immediate aftermath of a chemical attack in Syria last year. The pictures of doctors trying to revive young children were shown to Security Council ambassadors. They were shocked, many were moved to tears.
The video in particular of the attempts to resuscitate the children, if there was a dry eye in the room, I didn't see it. It's just devastating to see the facts of what this regime is doing. So people were visibly moved.
Some of the worst stuff I've ever had to watch, I've got to say. There were moments when all I wanted to do was to look away, and then I realized that the people we were seeing actually had to live through this, and regrettably they had to die through it.
As well as watching the video, Security Council members heard evidence from 2 Syrian doctors and from a survivor of a chemical attack. They later briefed reporters.
In the video you can see that the patients were one on top of the other, and that's because we received many sick people in a short amount of time. As far as my feelings, of course it was very disturbing. Every time I rewatch the video, I remember the events that occurred, which were very upsetting.
Kusei Zachariah says he was one of the victims of a sarin attack in 2013. At one point, doctors thought they'd lost him.
They gave up on me, and I was placed between the dead bodies for nearly 45 minutes until a friend of mine noticed that I was still alive, called the doctors again, gave me more atropine, and I don't know, for some reason I came back to life.
The video was filmed just 10 days after the Security Council vote, a rare moment of unity on Syria when this resolution condemning the use of chlorine was passed.
Thousands of people have attended a march in South Africa's coastal city of Durban in solidarity with the country's foreign nationals. The march on Thursday, which included religious leaders and concerned citizens, comes after weeks of attacks against foreign nationals, in which at least 5 people have been killed and 74 people arrested since the end of March.
These migrant workers in South Africa say they will do anything to protect themselves and their families.
We are sick and tired about this xenophobia. They kill us a lot. We didn't kill maybe one person.
There has been a wave of fighting between immigrants and locals in some areas. Here in the port city of Durban, police say at least 4 people have been killed. Thousands have fled their homes. Gloria Makwakwa is from Mozambique. She came to South Africa nearly 20 years ago, but she says the men who chased her and her 9-year-old daughter out of their home insisted she doesn't belong here.
They said, "We know that you're not from South Africa. Can you please get out? You must go because when we are done here, we are coming for you." So I ran away.
Here in a sports field, foreigners feel there is safety in numbers. They get food and other basic necessities from aid agencies. Right now, they don't know how long they'll be here. Some locals accuse immigrants from other African countries of taking their jobs. The unemployment rate is officially at around 25%, but others say their anger is misguided.
This is a protest against the angry South Africans who have been screaming and shouting to the government for their voices to be heard, and the government have ignored them for time. So now the people are starting to protest.
It's going to get dark and cold soon. Most families would rather be in their homes, but they say they can't leave just yet, not until they are sure some of their neighbors won't attack them again.
I believe all we have to do is just put the foreigners in South Africa in our prayers. Some African asylum seekers being held in detention in Israel have said they're being threatened with deportation to unsafe countries. Written notices given to some Eritreans held in deportation camps said they will be deported to unnamed African countries, thought to be Uganda and Rwanda. Details in this report.
When Israel rounded up thousands of asylum seekers and put them here, it was thought restrictions on their movements and access to jobs would force them to return home. But only some have left, so the government recently offered an alternative. Written notices given to some Eritreans here say they will be deported to unnamed African countries thought to be Uganda and Rwanda. Eritrean army defector Daniel Narayo, who received this notice, refuses to be deported to Rwanda because he says it's unsafe.
I know Rwanda. There is no security and there is no strong government there and there is no UN protection. No one stays in Rwanda. It is a transfer point for refugees who use brokers to go to safer places.
Israel's Interior Ministry says the deportations will encourage infiltrators to leave the borders of the State of Israel in an honorable and safe way and serve as an effective tool for fulfilling our obligations towards Israeli citizens and restoring the fabric of the life to the residents of South Tel Aviv. Many believe their asylum applications weren't even reviewed.
They throw my asylum request, and while I have been waiting for the interview for the request, last month they called me and just told me to leave the country without seeing my request. Is it the way? Is it fair at all?
Israeli human rights activists say the Israeli government may be keeping details of the deals reached with African countries intentionally secret.
The international community would be upset to learn that Israel, for example, maybe is giving weapons to dictatorships in Africa in exchange for unwanted refugees. I think the Israeli public would also be outraged if they learn that Israel is giving millions and hundreds of millions of dollars of their money that they pay in taxes, to get a few hundreds of people out of Israel.
Well, let's have a break and return with the afternoon sports. Welcome back. And in sports, motor-mouth kickboxer Moses Golola returns to the ring to shoot at a world title 8 months after losing to American kickboxer Richard Abraham at Speak Resort Munyonyo. Golola will face off with Thais Kamasatron Wathapro for the vacant world kickboxing title in the 5-round light middleweight fighter set for 16th May 2015 at Katikati.
Yate mukuru wange nandi kayise wanga bwizo
Comes the 16th of May. This is not a joking subject. This has been my dream. I've been praying God for this, and God is really making me to touch this. Comes Tungu, comes Tang, I don't give a damn how many fights, either he has 100 fights, but he's going to get a pain. Golola Moses, I'm a changed Golola Moses. Of course, I'm a Golola Moses of the New Testament. People who have been knowing Golola Moses, that was Golola Moses of the last testament. I'm going to show you that this time I'm really improved. I want to thank God for my fellow boxers who have come to show a big fight. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a very big show. We are ready to show you, and we are ready to take the fighting industry to the big level.
Uganda Professional Boxing Commission has shown its readiness to host the African Boxing Union Convention for the second time, which is scheduled to take place on 3rd to 7th June 2015. Its local boxers to gain from the convention, as several fights are expected to feature on the 5th of June as fighters go for continental titles. Details follow.
After a long spell of months without any professional boxing activity, local boxers including Joe Vegas Lubega and Zebra Senyang, among others, are expected to take on Continental Cream as they focus on winning African titles. Mark Mugwanya, Uganda Professional Boxing General Secretary, told the media in Kampala that among the benefits of the African Boxing Union Convention will be continental title fights.
We shall be having
and Africa Boxing Union titles. We're expecting at least 2 or 3 titles to be part of the convention.
Several boxing promoters, including Batrick Promotions, Michael Chiza, among others, have already shown interest in staging African boxing title fights. Out of the 40 member nations of ABU, 10, including Malawi, Kenya, DR Congo, Congo Brazzaville, have already confirmed their participation in the convention. Among the benefits of the convention will be the seminar for ring officials, medical personnel, where certificates will be issued after the seminars.
Thank you for watching Afternoon Edition. I am Innocent Nabaasa Kashobera. Good afternoon.